Hi everyone, welcome back to the Spring Garden series. Today is a very exciting day. So I'm going to show you how to plant one of the earliest vegetables you can get planted in your garden, and that's lettuce. We're going to plant some seedlings that we started indoors about 6 weeks ago. We're also going to plant some seeds so that you have lettuce at different stages of harvest and you always have fresh salads to eat. Now, if you've been with me since the beginning of this series, you know that we started all these plants from seed indoors a couple of months ago. We've been watering, fertilizing, acclimating them. They are ready to go in the garden. So let me grab my lettuce and we'll head out to the garden. Now, I've been out gardening quite a bit this week, and it feels so good to be outside to hear the birds singing, see the flowers blooming, and to get some vegetables in the ground. And I know from reading the comments, a lot of you have been out there too, and I imagine it feels really, really good. Now, for those of you that haven't been able to get outside because it's still too cold, hang in there, keep watching our videos, and you'll be outside planting very soon. So first off, we're going to start by planting some lettuce seedlings right in the garden bed that we prepared last week. Last week we added some worm castings, some soil conditioner, some compost, so this garden bed is ready to go. Now, lettuce is one of the earliest crops you can plant because it's cold tolerant and even frost tolerant. So you can even get it planted a couple of weeks before your last frost date. So we don't have to worry too much about frost here in Southern California. We're going to take the lettuce seedlings that we started on the very first video of the Spring Garden series and get them planted right in this garden bed today. Now, the cool thing about lettuce is you can plant it every couple of weeks so that you can have a continual harvest. Now, ideally, you want to start seeds indoors about 4 weeks before you're going to get them planted out in the garden. So this right here is actually overdue for planting, but I did start some seedlings indoors about 3 weeks ago, and those are perfect for planting. So we're gonna get some of those planted today. And then this little container of lettuce, doesn't that look beautiful? We've been harvesting fresh, tasty salads from it. It's been growing a couple of weeks, and we're also gonna get some lettuce planted in this container right here today too. Now, if you haven't yet started seeds, it's not too late. You wanna get your seeds started indoors about 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost date. And you can head to my website, pick up one of the Spring Garden seed collections. It has everything you need for a basic garden, all in one handy collection, 12 varieties, so it's perfect for a beginner or a busy person if you don't want to worry about what seeds to purchase. So let's get these planted here. We're going to actually plant them along the edge of the garden bed, and we're going to plant some taller vegetables in the back in a week or so, and that way it'll shade the lettuce, because lettuce is a cool weather vegetable and it doesn't like temperatures that are over 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So the best time to grow lettuce is early in the spring while the temperatures are still cool. So I'm just going to dig a little trench here in the front of my garden bed. And you notice I'm putting it right next to my drip irrigation hose so it can get plenty of water. And along the edge of the garden bed is actually a really good place to plant it because it will get a little bit of shade from the taller vegetables during the hot weather. So I'm just popping it in the ground here, and I'm going to fill it in with soil right around the seedling. This red romaine lettuce is such a beautiful variety. It's beautiful, bright red, nice big leaves, and actually romaine lettuce is a little more heat tolerant too. So it usually will do pretty well in temperatures up to about 80 degrees. And lettuce has really shallow roots, so you don't have to plant it too terribly deep. You can see here I'm putting the top of the pellet at about soil level and just filling it in with soil around the seedling. Now you notice I am peeling away the netting on these peat pellets, and I just feel like leaving it on restricts the roots. So this way the roots can breathe and have lots of room to grow. Just feels so good to be out here in the warm sun, get my hands in the soil, and knowing that I'm planting some fresh organic food for my family. These fresh salads are just so good. Well, it feels so good to get that little row of lettuce planted, and Max just joining me right here in the garden bed. Well, we're going to be able to harvest this red romaine lettuce in just a couple of weeks. I cannot wait. But now what I'm going to do is plant some seeds right here where Mac is. Come here, Mac. That way we'll have some more lettuce to harvest in about 6 weeks.
It's the cool dirt that he really likes.
He's loving it. So remember we prepared the soil last week. Guys, it is looking absolutely amazing. I just love getting my hands in it. It's nice and loose and black. Oh, would you look at that? It just feels so good. So this is actually a perfect spot to plant some lettuce seeds. So let me just grab some of the black seeded Simpson and the red romaine lettuce from the Spring Garden seed collection. Both heat tolerant varieties of lettuce, a little bit slower to bolt from what I found than a lot of varieties. And this is a perfect little spot to plant them, but evidently I am gonna have to fence it off from Mac because I think he likes this spot. So here we have the black seeded Simpson. I love the look of lettuce seeds. They're so tiny. In the black seeded Simpson, you can see our black little seeds. Now, to plant lettuce seeds, you definitely want to plant it in nice loose soil like this is. And I'm going to plant it right along the drip irrigation hose so it gets plenty of water. And to plant lettuce seeds, you just want to grab a little bit of pinch in between your fingers and then just sprinkle it in a nice little row here. You don't have to worry too much about spacing. You can always thin them out if they come up too thickly. So I'll plant a little row of the black seeded Simpson, and lettuce seeds do need light to germinate. So I'm not going to cover them with soil. I'm just going to kind of push them down lightly into the soil. You can sprinkle them with just a tiny bit of soil if you want to, but they germinate a whole lot quicker if you just kind of lightly press them down like this. I'm also going to sprinkle a little bit of the black seeded Simpson along the front of the garden bed here, because I love to have different colors and textures in the garden. It'll look really pretty next to the red romaine that we already planted. So we've got black seeded Simpson in the back of the garden bed, black seeded Simpson in the front of the garden bed. In the middle, I'm going to put the red romaine. It's always so fun to see different colors in the garden, and this is going to make such a beautiful color pop. Green in the front and back and red romaine in the middle. It's always fun to see colors in the garden. Lettuce we grow for the leaves, for those fresh, tasty salads. So it needs regular feeding in order to keep growing those lovely leaves that we love to eat. So I'm going to pour in here some of the Vermistera worm tea. Works great to fertilize seedlings. It provides a nice, slow, gentle growth. And it really helps the lettuce protect from pests and diseases. But because I also want to use some higher nitrogen fertilizer to keep growing those leaves, I'm going to put a pump of the Good Dirt plant food, which is a little bit higher in nitrogen, into my watering can here. Or they also have a really nice handy bottle that connects right to your hose. So I put 2 pumps in this watering can. I think it's about 1.5 gallons or so, which is just about right. Gonna stir it up. And I'll put links to the supplies I use in this video in the video description, along with discount codes so you can get some to use in your garden. So I'm just watering my lettuce seedlings here. And I'm going to try and water as much as I can at the base of the plants so as not to disturb the little seedlings, and then let the water soak down into the roots here. And these might take a couple of days to perk up. Just a little bit of transplant shock, but it's nothing to worry about. They're going to perk up and be just fine. So now let's go over here to my seeds and water those in. I just love seeing the little seeds in the soil and knowing that they're going to be growing into some nice, fresh, tasty salads very soon. So now it's especially important when you just planted seeds and seedlings to come out here and check on these every day to make sure they're not drying out. So make sure they get adequate water, whether you're watering with a watering can or with your drip irrigation. You can see that Mac really does like this garden bed here, so I'm actually just going to put this little fence in just to keep him out of it. And it is also right by a walkway, so I don't want people stepping into where my little seeds are growing. Now remember how I said that lettuce is a cool weather vegetable and it doesn't like temperatures over 80 degrees? We're going to do a couple of things today to help protect my lettuce from the heat, because we're going to get a couple of 85-degree days here. So what I'm going to do first of all is mulch around the seedlings. Now mulch does a couple of things. Not only does it help keep the seedlings a little bit cooler, but it also helps with water evaporation so the soil doesn't dry out too quickly. So this is shredded leaf mulch. I collect leaves every fall and I have friends collect leaves for me. And these are shredded up. They've been sitting all winter. They smell absolutely beautiful. They've been getting rained on. So not only will it help protect my lettuce seedlings in the heat, but it also adds good organic matter to the soil and brings in the worms. So I'm just spreading about 1 inch or so around the seedlings. Now I'm not going to spread mulch over my seeds I just planted because I want them to have the light that they need to germinate. So we'll just come out and make sure that these seeds get watered during the hot days. Second thing I'm going to do to help protect my lettuce bed from our hot days we have here coming up is to install some shade cloth. Now, if you've never used shade cloth in the heat, you really have to. This is a 40% block, which means that it will block out the intensity of the sun's rays, but still allow some light to come through. Now, if you don't have any shade cloth, you can also use a piece of an old sheer curtain just to kind of help block out the intensity of the sun. But it's super easy to do. I'm just going to pound 4 stakes into each corner of the garden bed here, and then clip the shade cloth onto it. Now that we have our lettuce seedlings planted in our garden bed and some seeds planted, the other thing I love to do with lettuce is plant it in containers for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's fun to have a container of lettuce like this one sitting right outside my kitchen door so I can just pop outside and pick a few salads for a meal. And the other thing is, during periods of hot weather, it's great to have a little container of lettuce that you can just move into the shade and protect it from the heat, or even move it inside if the weather gets really hot. So I started these little lettuce seedlings inside about 3 weeks ago, and they're perfect to pop right in here into this 5-gallon container. And I absolutely love these Smart Pots fabric containers. And isn't this cute? This one has my logo on it. You can pick these up on my website. A 5-gallon container is perfect for growing lettuce. It's just the right size. So I'm going to pull out some of these lettuce seedlings here. These are all lettuce seeds that are in my lettuce seed collection, and one of my very favorite lettuces of all time is the prize head lettuce. I love the color of it. It's a beautiful, gorgeous lettuce, and it's so much fun to plant different colors of lettuce, so your salads are super, super tasty. So I'm just going to plant a bunch of these lettuce seedlings right here in this container. And you notice these seedlings are just a little bit leggy, so the seedling is kind of flopping over. Now with lettuce seedlings, you can plant them actually a little bit deeper and then give them a little bit of support by just popping some soil right there around the stems. This is the Paris Cause romaine lettuce. Such a beautiful variety, very heat tolerant. I'm going to pop a couple of these right in the middle because they tend to be a little bit taller than the other ones. And that way the ones that are shorter will be around the edges. I just love growing my own lettuce. It's so fresh and tasty and works well in ground as well as in containers. Now the lettuce seed collection has 5 varieties of lettuce, different colors, different textures, a couple of heat tolerant varieties. So if you want to grow some lettuce, head over and pick up one of the lettuce seed collections too. You can see I'm planting them pretty closely together. Lettuce will take really dense planting, and I'm going to make sure I just fertilize these about once a week or so to keep growing those tasty greens. It's so much fun to have some planted and all at different stages of growth. We have lettuce we're harvesting from right now. We have lettuce that'll be ready in just a couple of weeks in a container and in the ground. And we have some lettuce seeds that will be ready to harvest in about 6 weeks. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment below, let me know what you're planning out in your spring garden, and stay tuned to the Spring Garden series, because over the next couple of weeks, we'll be getting some tomatoes and peppers in the ground. Let's not forget about those peas. If you haven't started yet, grab one of the Spring Garden seed collections or the lettuce seed collections, get your seeds started, and follow along gardening this spring with us. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.